Welcome students. I'm Dr. Sonu Shiva, Associate Professor, Department of English, Government Dungar College, Bikaner. This session is for BA Second Year, English Literature, Paper 2nd. In the second paper, Literary Terms, you have this term, stream of consciousness. So in this session, we are going to deal with what stream of consciousness is. Coming to the definition of this term, stream of consciousness is a modernist technique of narration. So it's a modern form of writing, and as a mode of narration that attempts to reproduce the full and uninterrupted stream or flow of characters' mental process in which thoughts, ideas, reactions, memories, and sense impressions may intermingle without coherent or logical transitions. So you can say that stream of consciousness is a technique in which the writer gives readers an opportunity to dive into the inner world of a character, where readers come to know what is the character's mental state, what are his thoughts, his ideas, his reactions, memories, and impressions about something. And as in the real world, the human thought, they lack that coherence, they lack that logical pattern, and the human mind can move in all directions and without any logical transition from one thing to another. In the same manner, this fiction also has this intermingling of human thoughts. And this technique aspires to give readers the impression of being inside the mind of characters. So readers feel as if they are inside the minds of characters. They come to know what their thinking are, and that thinking need not to be in a logical pattern. How does it affect the reader? So we know that stream of consciousness is to show what character is thinking. But it actually replicates the experience of thinking. So readers are able to connect with that, and it is an opportunity for the reader to enter the mind and world of character more fully. So instead of knowing a character just by what he does or what he speaks in a story or in a fiction, stream of consciousness is an opportunity for the readers to enter into the mental world of a character, to know that character completely, instead of just knowing through his outward actions. As a narrative technique, this technique is basically used in psychological novel. So psychological novel, because they deal with human psychology, they prefer this narrative technique of stream of consciousness. And by this, it means that it describes the continuous flow of thoughts in minds of characters that we already discussed. Therefore, stream of consciousness is a technique features a trip from the outer world into the inner world. And this is interesting, that how readers, they are having a chance to go into the inner world of the character. And then it puts overemphasis on the latter, that is on the inner world, since it is more important than the former. Obviously, because when you know about the inner world, when you know about what a character is thinking, then that is more important to have an opinion about the situation or about the character himself, instead of just knowing from a character from the outer world, his role in the outer world. Let's have a look at it in detail. Stream of consciousness presents the character's thoughts and feelings in a way people actually think. So as I said, that people, they don't think in a linear manner. Stream of consciousness in the same manner is non-linear. It lacks chronological or logical pattern. So it does not have any beginning or end. Just as when we start thinking, we don't have any beginning or end to the thought. Our thoughts move in all directions. In the same manner, this stream of consciousness technique, when it presents the thoughts of the character, it is absolutely non-linear, and it lacks chronological or logical pattern, which ultimately results in fragmentary thoughts and sensory feeling. So that does not mean that you don't completely come to know about a character. It does give you the sensory feelings or the thoughts in a fragmented manner, Since stream of consciousness follows this very disjointed or randomized sequence, so there's not a sequence that the thoughts are beginning from here and they are carrying you to some point. It is the thought process is written in a very randomized manner, and the audience at times might feel difficulty to comprehend the narrative. However, if executed masterfully, stream of consciousness can make the text really enjoyable, because you come to know about the character's mind and how thoughts are coming and going, how he's improvising upon something, or he is taking some actions. So that makes the text really interesting and enjoyable at times. Salient features. We have already talked about it. Let's look at the salient features of stream of consciousness point-wise. Stream of consciousness is a description of continuous flow of unspoken thoughts and perceptions of the character. So we must know that the thoughts which writer is expressing, those thoughts are not spoken by the character, rather it's the journey to character's mind. Then character's thoughts and feelings are depicted as overheard in the mind or addressed to oneself. So even it's not let's say it's not a soliloquy where the character is speaking his thoughts aloud. It is just overheard in the mind. The character is thinking to himself, and it is addressed to oneself, then to the reader or the audience. Chiefly concerned with the subjective description of life. So instead of objective description of life, instead of outer world, it is chiefly concerned with human thoughts, with human emotions, with human perceptions. The flow of characters' thoughts often appears without a coherent structure or cohesion. So at times readers may find it difficult to understand, because the moving of the character's mind or shifting of his thought from one thought to another in not a logical pattern may at time give the reader's feeling that it is not coherent, but it is like that it is written in the form of the flow of characters' thoughts. And use of informal and colloquial language. Stream of consciousness uses informal way pattern of writing, and it is usually written in a colloquial language, the way a person speaks. Abandonment of conventional rules of syntax and punctuation. So because there is the pattern of human thought is not linear, so there won't be any formal punctuation marks. So it will be not following any conventional traditional rules of syntax and punctuation. Use of cinematic device of montage, that is shift of thoughts randomly from one thing to another. So just like human thoughts in actual life, the mind of character, it keeps on shifting from one thought, one perception to another. So it goes like this. Then stylistic forms. Stream of consciousness technique has two major stylistic forms. One is narrated stream of consciousness. It is also called as indirect interior monologue or psychonarration, wherein the character's thoughts are presented by third person. So at times when you are given the thoughts of a character by an omniscient narrator, because the narrator who is telling you about the thoughts of the character, it appears as if narrator is omniscient. He is all knowledgeable. He even knows what is going inside the mind of every character. So such a narrator, who can be the writer himself, he gives you in his narration what is going on in character's mind. So this is called narrated stream of consciousness. Narrated stream of consciousness renders the narrative report of character's psychological states. So it's a narrative report. It's a report sort of thing. The writer is reporting to you, to the readers, what is going in character's mind, and that is the remote pre-conscious state that exists before the mind organizes sensations. Consequently, the recreation of narrated stream of consciousness. So just as the mind, it arranges certain things, it arranges certain sensations. So that state of mind, that how mind is organizing certain things, and this is all narrated by the narrator or by the writer. This form of narration is called as narrated stream of consciousness. Then the other stylistic form is interior monologue. It is also called quoted stream of consciousness. That means the term interior monologue is often mistakenly used as a synonym for a stream of consciousness. So it is taken as a synonym, interior monologue. It is not a synonym. It is a type of stream of consciousness. It entails the presentation of consciousness in seemingly transparent, uninterrupted way from the first person point of view of a character. So in this form, the writer or the narrator is not present. It is given to you, the thoughts or the state of mind is presented before the readers right from the side of first person, without guidance or commentary from the third person narrator. More specifically, in interior monologue, the author seems not to exist and the interior self of the character is given directly. So in this interior monologue, you come to know about the character's thoughts and feelings or his perceptions directly from the character himself, and you feel as if the author is not present. Whereas in this narrated stream of consciousness, there is a presence of the author, or you can say the narrator looks like an omniscient person who knows and who narrates whatever is going in the mind of character. But in interior monologue, the thoughts, the mental state of the character is given to you right from the first person point of view, right from the character himself. Now, function. Stream of consciousness technique enables the writer to portray the inner status of character in an effective and convincing way. In this way, the author takes the reader inside the mind of character to follow his or her thought patterns. So we have already discussed this, that how the writer, he gives readers an opportunity to go inside the mind of character. Then you'll find in this that stream of consciousness often presents rapid shifts in the character's thought process, such as memories, feelings, etc., by means of flashback and foreshadowing. So there is a rapid shift from one thought to another. Sometimes the memories are presented, or sometimes the feelings are presented in the form of giving you flashbacks and foreshadowing. That means the character's mind is shifted from one position to another, seemingly discontinuous one, as we already discussed that it is not in a coherent condition. So it is a discontinuous one, so that audience needs to draw an inference about their connection and also about the upcoming twist. So because at times audience is not able to guess, or is sometimes not able to understand how the things are connected, but it does make it interesting that the readers or the audience, they try to draw a connection between the thoughts, and they are also waiting for the upcoming twists. In this way, the author is able to retain the reader's interest till the end of the text. So what is going to happen? Because they know that what is going in the character's mind. So what decision that character is going to take, or what is going to happen in the end. This makes the interest of the readers alive in the text till the end. So stream of consciousness technique sometimes contributes to the overall development of the plot. So as the story proceeds, this technique also helps the plot to develop. Then about some of the writers who are using this technique, like Dave Eggers, author of a heartbreaking work of Staggering Genius in 2000. According to one reviewer, talks much as he writes, a forceful stream of consciousness through sprouting in all directions. The 21st century brought further exploration. It's primarily a fictional device. The term stream of consciousness was coined by philosopher and psychologist William James. So when you talk about this stream of consciousness, you should remember these important names: William James in The Principles of Psychology, then James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, William Faulkner are major pioneers in this literary form. So I hope that's clear to you. Thank you.